Irreverent, entertaining, cool. You're listening to LA Talk Radio.
All right, guys, welcome to the show. Alan Lee's back in town. We're doing this episode at Sal's Comedy Hole. We're doing mobile. And our guest is the great Richard Chassler. Did I say it right?
That's exactly
One
right.
and only.
Yeah?
It's exact. Most people try to say it. They say it with a Z. That Chassler.
Like two S's equal a Z.
Yeah, I don't know why. It's the hard S sound. You clearly followed your parts of speech in elementary school.
Yeah.
Articulation.
Richard's been bugging me to do the podcast for like 2 years now. And he texts me. He's like, because he used to like all my Facebook statuses. He hasn't liked one for 3 months.
Oh.
And I was like, what's wrong, Richard? He's like, I'll start liking when I do Reza riffs.
There you go.
No, you can blame that one on Zuckerberg because he's, the algorithm takes people in and out of your Facebook sphere now. So I don't see all your posts. So if I stop liking one thing for 48 hours, all of a sudden, like, you don't appear on my Facebook anymore.
Oh,
you know what I'm
boy.
saying? Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Because I've been writing a whole bunch of fuck Richard Chassler jokes.
And I haven't been responding to any of them. Which is so odd because I'm currently in Twitter jail for the next 48 hours. I've been in jail. I've been in Twitter jail for the last 4 days. I have 2 more days of Twitter jail to go. I referred to Ann Coulter, the horse-faced cunt, as a horse-faced cunt. And so Twitter put me in Twitter jail for 6 days.
Jimmy Walker's dating her, right?
That's
Or
right.
he dated her.
Is it Ann Coulter or the cunt that got you in trouble?
Jimmy Walker.
The comedian.
You
Dynamite.
remember Jimmy
No,
Walker?
you're not allowed to say Dynamite.
You're not?
He doesn't like. I opened for him, and Jimmy Walker does not like to be called JJ. He doesn't want to be associated with Good Times. Doesn't want you calling him Dynamite, Kid Dynamite. None of that. He doesn't. Yeah, when you bring him on, it's just Jimmy Walker. Not you will recognize him from. None of that. He wants nothing to do with it.
Wow.
Yeah.
But then he signs all the Good Time posters after the show.
Well, because people
you
won't
kind of have to.
people won't pay the tickets to come see him if he doesn't sign those posters.
Yeah.
But you notice when they bring him on stage, they don't introduce him, and you'll recognize him as Jimmy J.J. Walker.
No.
He's like,
No.
that's what I'm doing.
Which is odd because Shirley was totally different. May she rest in peace, Shirley Hemphill.
Oh, yeah.
Shirley was the best.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Shirley in the house. That's what she was saying.
Did you open for her, too?
I did. I worked with Shirley. at the historic Holly Hotel in Holly, Michigan. And she was amazing. I worked with her a few times, but that was the first time I met her.
Yeah.
And I got to do 4 days with her. It was like a Wednesday, Thursday, 2 shows Friday, 2 shows Saturday.
Yeah. And you only liked 2 of those days.
Actually, to be honest with you, that was okay.
She's dead. She's not gonna listen.
No,
to this.
Shirley was amazing. I loved every minute with Shirley. Shirley was the sweetest, kindest, most loving, amazing, supportive.
Yeah.
She gave me notes. She watched my shows, all of them. There are very few people, like George Wallace did that. There's very few headliners that will sit and watch a feature act every one of their shows for a whole week. It doesn't happen a lot. I do it occasionally if the guy pisses me off. Then I do it because
Speaking of pissing you off, do you remember the first day we met?
I absolutely do.
Do
you know this story?
I do.
He was there.
I think I was there.
Downtown LA?
Yeah.
Oh, this was a disaster.
So we should get this out because this is an example of how
part of the conflict.
this guy.
I know, right? When he's just throwing fucking matches onto the gasoline and you want to start another fight?
So far, no one knows there's a conflict, and then you fucking spoil it.
I know. Gee, what do you...
I'm not a diplomat.
At
Why
least
don't you wait outside?
talking about putting the punchline before the setup.
But no, this is an example of how enemies could become good friends.
That's right.
It's totally true. This is
Because-
a perfect example.
So we did a show in LA where you were headlining and I was featuring.
Correct.
And I got Alan Lee a guest set, and I was supposed to do 20 minutes. I only did 5 minutes because I was doing so bad.
So true.
And there was, in my defense, there's only 2 people in the audience.
That's it.
Yeah.
I drove downtown LA to headline a gig.
Yeah.
that had 2 people. 2.
Not a big room.
But it was
No, the room was big.
I mean,
yeah,
the audience
it was a
big.
great room.
The room was great.
Yeah.
Just nobody in
Empty
it.
room.
Yeah, I guess it was a Laker game or something. You know how they always
Yeah, listen, you know, the Jetsons versus the Flintstones are on tonight, so it's going to be a little light,
It's a big game.
you know.
But so I bombed hard, and like when I bomb, I just want to get off the stage immediately. Because it's like, oh my God, this is like telling jokes at a funeral, which I've done. You know?
One of my favorite bits of yours, by the way. I can laugh at that 50 times in a row. When I see you do that on stage, I'm not lying to you. When you did that in Van Nuys, I laughed so hard.
How many bits did I do on that? Because
I don't know. You just kept expounding on it.
Yeah.
You just kept running it. And
I
it
just
was
filmed
so
an hour special,
funny.
and 20 minutes of it was just doing that.
Oh my God, that is so freaking funny. Where did you shoot the special?
The Rec Room in Huntington Beach.
Nice.
I've been trying to get you there, but you always
I'll
won't.
come down anytime.
Yeah? All right.
Anytime.
All right.
Absolutely anytime. In fact, tomorrow night I'm doing the Throckmorton up in Mill Valley. Have you done this gig yet?
No.
I can help you get it. It's fantastic.
All
But
right.
it's a theater
Oh, I
that's
love
been
theater.
around since like the 1920s.
Oh.
And it's old time, like it could be called the Orpheum,
Uh-huh.
okay? But it only holds like 300 people.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's awesome. And to shoot in there looks phenomenal. But you only got to get 300 people in there. And Mill Valley has a built-in comedy audience that's been going to this theater every Tuesday night for the last 13 or 14 years.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Very, very sweet. Yeah, and they're all rich hippies.
Oh,
Yeah.
awesome. Well, let's do it. But back to the story.
Yes.
So I was bombing hard, and then I was like, all right, I want to get off the stage. And then the host brought you up, and the first thing you do, you just attack me.
Sorry about that.
And then you're tagging the show with your fucking phone. Like, what the hell? Who's Jill?
Jill Jacobson in New York. Should I answer it and tell her she's on the air?
No.
Okay.
I mean, it might turn into phone sex.
No, it could. No.
I think you should.
No, if you want to answer,
Go on,
you
actually, go
can
ahead. You're
answer
welcome.
it.
Oh, all right.
Too late.
Yeah, I can call her back.
No.
She's got a great attitude. She's very funny too.
Well, it's up to you. You're
Nah,
the
it
guest.
doesn't matter.
All right. But so then you started tagging me, and then I remember you did. I don't remember how much time you did, but I remember the whole time. I stayed because like usually I like to perform and bail because I have Asperger's. But I stayed because I was gonna kick the shit out of you.
Oh, my.
And then
went to the
I
car.
Googled you and I saw, you opened for Nick Swartz, and I was like, you know what? Because I opened for Norm, and, they're part of the same cycle.
Oh yeah,
And those are comics that are all about respect.
right.
So I gave you the I was like, okay, if he's with Swartz and he knows respect, so maybe he's drunk or something, but maybe if I just tell him how he hurt me, you know what I mean? And that's what happened, and you were very apologetic, and now we're like the bestest friends.
I love you, but there's certain things you don't know. Like, here's the thing: I'm not a politically correct person by any stretch of the imagination. I think
Right.
political correctness has fucked up society.
Thank you.
And
It is
comedy.
comedy. I think it's pushed race relations,
I think so.
sex relations, religious relations backwards. Are you going to repeat everything I say for the next hour?
Everything.
Is that how that works?
Yes, I
you
do.
just
I
repeat
steal-
everything I say?
That's how I get my material.
Just, I'm not sure if there's an echo in here
That's how
or
I-
if he's trying to learn how to do me.
Yeah, no.
You should see all the
get-
YouTube comments
I
we
get-
get off.
I get-
Oh
I
my
get-
God!
I get-
Well, you see, this is what I said. I'm not politically. Has
you go.
anybody called him out on
No,
it?
no,
before me?
that's not at all. No.
Oh, okay.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's typical me. I'm the guy who will point and go, look, there's an elephant in the room.
Yeah.
While everyone's just going like, do you see that elephant?
And Alan's the guy's like, I'm the elephant.
Right.
Doesn't matter. I
Exactly.
get my material that way.
And I'm the guy who's like, can someone get the elephant out of the room, please?
All right.
So anyway.
Dumbo, relax.
Yeah, I'm not a politically correct person. I think it has set everything backwards, and I think All in the Family I use as the barometer, to prove that point. You can get that on in 1972.
That's right.
But you could not get that on CBS on Saturday night at 8:00 today.
Right.
Okay, which means we've gone backwards, not forwards.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm glad. And so when I went on stage, first of all, in my defense, I'm not sure I went on as long as you seem to think I did, but
Right.
there's no question about it. I probably did at least 3 or 4 minutes on why would you take a job that you don't have enough material to fill. Like,
right.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
Like, one of my favorite things in the world to do, if I'm in a comedy club like we're in right now and someone's on stage and I hear them say, so what do you guys want to talk about? I will, from wherever I am in the room, shout out, let's talk about why you're on stage taking time you don't have enough material to fill.
Right.
It's not up to the audience to write your jokes.
Right. No,
seriously, I will say that. I don't give a fuck who it is on stage. I will always say that.
No, I get it.
Right.
But
so I certainly went on stage, and I definitely went off on that, and everybody's different. And not everyone has the same listening for the same sarcasm, and not everybody has the same understanding of when you say you were only making a joke and someone goes, well, the knife's got blood dripping off of it. That's not very funny to me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Especially after I stabbed you.
Exactly. My grandfather's lying dead on the floor. I'm trying to figure out where the humor is.
I'm just trying to make
What do
you
you
laugh.
mean? It's funny, man. It's fun. Now you got your inheritance. You know what I mean? It's like...
Speaking of knife cutting, you were in Hitchcock.
I was in Hitchcock.
He was in Hitchcock.
I played Martin Balsam.
You played
Hitchcock.
Martin Balsam.
Nice.
Yeah.
Hey,
Arbogast.
You know who Martin Balsam is?
Yeah, he played him.
Yes.
Ah.
But you know the actor Martin Balsam visually.
Yes, he played him.
Oh,
my God.
Just double checking, just dotting down.
Yeah.
It's like Yosemite, when you say hello and it goes hello, 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 and it's like 9 canyon walls.
This is better than the studio.
It's also, yeah.
The studio, we get phone calls.
Yeah. So when I got off stage and you came up to me, I didn't know you.
Yeah.
And I didn't know, that you were that hypersensitive about it, and B, that you have Asperger's, and so you're listening for certain things, and your
Right.
approach to everything is different.
Yeah.
So immediately, I have to take that into account. I got to go, look, there's no question about it. Any other comic in the back of the room just might have gone like, hey, fuck you, Chassler, and been, and totally gotten it. You bailed after 5 minutes. You were supposed to do 15. You know?
Yeah.
Okay, but with you, it was different.
Yeah.
Because you react to things differently and you hear things differently.
In my
and
head,
you
I thought I
process.
was doing 15.
Right, and you process. You know what? I'll tell you a funny story about that. And you process differently. So I had to take that into account, and all that does is open my bleeding fucking hippie heart, And then I go, okay, well, the guy had enough balls to come up to me and say, hey, what the fuck, dude? And so. How do you not embrace that? He upheld his end of the moral contract.
Yeah.
Okay?
That's right.
He was honest, and he was approachable, and he said what was on his mind in a way that was not at all abrasive or antagonistic.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to uphold my end of the moral contract.
Yeah.
And I have to be a receptor.
Nice.
Otherwise, why are we here? I wrote, this is the breakdown in human relations today. It's that societal glitch that we have now, where on a macrocosm, look at the world, but on a microcosm, like, who the fuck's gonna let you make a lane change? I have one item, you've got a basket full. Do you think I can go in front of you? What do you mean, no?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I hear you.
What happened to common courtesy and people stopping for stop signs, and when they don't and you honk at them because they almost hit you,
In Melrose,
they flip you off.
Well, to be honest, I'm so glad that I talked to you after, because, just instead of, one, I'm not a fighter,
Yeah, I know. Me neither. I'm a deadhead.
But also, you're the sweetest guy, and I know now.
Thank you.
You know what I mean? I know, we're good best friends now. But I've never really, and I'll be honest, because comics have tried to offended me, by using the R word, you know what I mean, and all that stuff.
You mean retard?
Yeah.
Well, A, that's retarded.
Yeah.
Second of all, no, see, that's the thing. I'm not. Lenny Bruce said it.
I love Lenny Bruce.
Well, Lenny said it the best. Okay,
He used to open for Lenny.
Yeah, I opened. Let me tell you something. Yeah. No, I did not open for Lenny.
No,
but
I was
Lenny
saying Alex.
Marty,
Yeah.
I did not.
Shaboom!
I never opened for Lenny.
That's hilarious. Oh, that's so funny.
Profanity.
That is so. Really?
No, I do.
Oh, fuck off.
I do.
I don't even trust people who don't curse.
No, I do profanity.
I don't trust people who don't curse.
Profanity.
I don't trust people who say
I do way profanity.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Fuck it.
All right.
He kisses his mom with a fuck every now and then.
I say,
But do you fuck your mom
no,
and then
that's,
kiss her?
that's disgusting.
Yeah.
All
I
right,
do.
well.
I will say,
You just ruined the momentum.
God damn. Never deny, always supply. Remember that. Never deny, always supply. It's never no but. It's always yes and.
Oh, yeah.
Stella.
All right. No, that's not actually Stella. That's
The setting.
That's
Common Sense.
Second City Improv.
Oh, yeah. Did you go to Second City?
You want to answer that?
Yeah.
I know. Do you want to answer that?
Yeah.
No, I didn't go.
Well, he's about to.
No.
I did study at Second City.
Oh, did you?
With Rick Overton when he was teaching there. And then I wound up being in an improv troupe with Rick for 6 years at the Melrose Improv.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we used to close out the Friday and Saturday night shows as Rick Overton and Friends.
Yeah. I actually have a degree in improv from South Coast Repertory.
Do you?
Yeah.
South Coast Rep has a great rep.
Yeah, but they don't have a good improv. Because that's how I have a degree.
That sucks. But they have South Coast Rep's a good place to go see shows.
Yeah.
That's an equity house, right?
Yeah, that's a good acting. It's like the number one in Costa Mesa.
Yeah.
Orange County.
Yeah, and there's only one.
I'm an equity actor.
Yeah. So would you say you're a dramatic actor? Because you
Definitely. Absolutely.
You sent me this movie that you did. It was called
short?
Yeah, it was called Stop.
Yeah.
And it was brilliant. It really was.
Really?
Yeah, it was maybe 17 minutes. It was short.
34, but it's a short film.
It was a short film, and it was brilliant. And I remember when I watched it, I was like, hey, dickhead, you should make this a real movie.
Well, it is a real movie. It's just a short one.
a long movie.
It could be.
Yeah.
It could be. Thank you. First of all, thank you. Wow, that's.
I was
humbling.
very impressed because I don't watch shorts.
Wow.
And I thought your acting was amazing. And I think you also wrote that too.
I did.
Yeah.
I directed it too.
You also directed it?
I did.
Wow.
Yeah. Richard Kind was in it.
Yeah.
He was great.
You were the best one.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Seriously.
Thank you. I don't know how to respond to this.
It responds because it kind of like how we met and then how we walk. It all has a theme of bullying and stuff.
It's about bullying. Let's tell the people listening. I wrote a movie called Stop, and it's a short film that's it's about bullying.
Yeah.
And I was not a bully. It's interesting because I was not a bully when I was growing up. And after the movie, a lot of people asked me, were you a bully? Were you a bully? Why'd you? And it occurred to me that I wasn't even really bullied at school, but I was bullied at home. So that, I think, might have played in, but I never came up when we were conceiving the idea. I conceived the idea with the guy who played the cop. But then I went and wrote the script.
Yeah.
And Stop. Go to richardchassler.com. You can watch it there.
Yeah, it was honestly, and like I said, I don't watch shorts because I like to watch long things.
Right.
It was brilliant.
It's a lot of movie in a very short period of time.
Yeah.
The premise is it's very scary just to tell people. You say, well, it's about a guy who runs a stop sign and gets pulled over by a cop.
Yeah.
And the cop recognizes the guy as the bully from school.
Oh, wow.
And you just tell people that and they go, oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not the feel-good movie of the year.
But it's one of those, because there's some movies that really make an impact on stuff, I think that's a movie that could impact on bullying and why it's so dangerous to do.
I hear from schools sometimes, they find it, and then they show it to the kids, believe it or not. It would be rated R.
Yeah.
I mean, it's certainly a rated R movie, I wrote it. I really only wrote it, to be honest with you. I wasn't thinking about any of the
message?
I wasn't thinking about any of that. I wanted to write a role for myself that I would want to get cast to play. As an actor, I wasn't getting brought in for the parts that I want to play. And I slept in my car and I lived in the street for a year so that I could study acting with Stella Adler. And I couldn't afford a rent and to pay Stella, so I was homeless. Yeah. And I got to study with Stella, and I studied with Stella for 8 years before she died.
Yeah.
7.5 years before she died. And I like to play, that heavy, I like that Academy Award winning shit. I didn't, I didn't train for nothing,
Yeah.
And I wanted to write something that if I were going to get cast in something, what would I want to play? What's beefy and meaty? And so, getting beer spit in your mouth is pretty beefy and meaty.
Well, I've told you this before, but I think you should expand it and refilm it and stuff.
Do you know Pablo Francisco?
We had Pablo on
Pablo,
here.
we did.
Yeah.
So Pablo wants to do something with it also. And Pablo and I are very good friends. And so Pablo wants to make it a comedy.
You can make it a comedy too.
I would see that.
Really?
Yeah.
You see, this is where I am like, is that even possible?
Yeah.
How is that? I would like to tell everybody we're just trying out some sound effects right now, and that was the door opening in the background sound effect.
Are you guys having a meeting? Should I wait?
And that's
Yeah, it's a meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah. We gotta get these sales up and these.
We got to get these books sold so,
Yeah.
Idiots like her can fucking read one. Sorry. Are you guys doing something?
But do you
in
see
here?
how my South Coast repertory improv skills
was
played
quick.
affect that? It was
Yes,
quick. I mean,
absolutely.
she used it immediately.
Me, I just had to shut up because I was going to say something like, what it is? It's the classic scene from Animal House where Flounder goes to the frat house and they're rushing.
I've never seen it.
And they're sitting around the poker table, and D-Day, who is sitting there, and the guy says, hey, what are you guys doing?
Yeah.
Playing poker?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. At least she was nice enough
And
to
they all
leave.
just look at it. Well, I'm pretty sure the cold breeze sort of blew her back towards the
Yeah. Alan's, either that or Alan's sexy.
I try to be diplomatic to the best of my ability. But getting back to the comedy that he's talking about.
You gotta speak louder.
I know. I
Turning
can't
back
even
to
hear
the
him.
comedy situation that we could turn stop into a comedy. We were
With
gonna,
Pablo.
With Pablo.
Right.
With Pablo, we wanted to go on with that whole.
I call him Pablo because I have a speech stutter and I always thought there was an L in his name.
Pablitos. I've known him for so long. He wants to turn it into a comedy.
Yeah.
And I'm like, really? Because I don't see how you can unless it's just a dark comedy.
I think you can. It's kind of like The Hangover. Like, what do you think the movie The Hangover is really about?
That's right.
Abusive women.
No, friendship.
Well, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And friendship could be a beautiful thing, but it could also be a dark thing.
Certainly.
You know, like you and I, we start off with a dark friendship.
Yeah.
You know, and now it's a beautiful thing.
It'd be like
I had to go around Vegas trying to find your ass.
the friendships. The friendships in the Trailer Park series.
And I fucked a lot of whores in the process. No, I'm just kidding.
Alan, I was telling Richard about that day you were at Starbucks and you left your laptop. You should tell him about that.
Well, what makes me angry about that whole situation, I know for a fact that the script that I was writing, which was called Offenders, that is the foundations of the
The fenders or
Yeah.
defenders?
No, the fenders, like a car fender.
Oh, okay. But are the fenders a band?
No.
Okay.
Not at all. They run a car shop, and they get blamed for a murder. And I believe that the Fast and Furious is based on that. Whoever stole my laptop went and made millions from that. And I have no way of proving that. Richard.
Are any of the characters named the same?
No, they
Are
obviously.
any of the stories?
They obviously changed.
I
it.
just
Hold
think-
on.
Oh,
Are any of the characters got the same names?
No, unfortunately.
Is the story about guys who raced cars and
No, it's
No,
actually
it's not.
they customize. So maybe I'm
Right.
exaggerating.
So
is that like a
is there
weird-
anything at all in the
There's-
Fast and Furious?
There's cars in it.
Well, then every movie about cars, you probably have a lawsuit against.
Well,
Thank
he
you.
did
Well, I
tell
just-
me that he saw Paul Walker running with a laptop.
That pissed me off.
Which is
That
pissed me off because there's no way he would be able to afford a laptop.
Yeah.
That's right. So
Seriously?
I'm out.
No,
I was
no.
going to the Writers Guild. What do you guys think?
No, Paul Walker wasn't
No,
running with a
it's just
laptop.
it's a silly. It's just ridiculous.
Are a very interesting character study.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
There's
love
people at the
compliments.
door still.
So let him wait.
I love compliments.
Yeah, they
take
said
them.
be here by 6:30, man.
We're good. We're good.
How long does your show go? Half hour? Or
No,
an hour?
Whatever, we do an hour.
We go an
Good.
hour,
Yeah.
45.
They have a show that starts at 8, but I say fuck it.
Yeah, we'll keep this thing going.
Let's just do the podcast.
Richard has stories to tell, and
Oh.
he's ripping.
Yeah, but we never finished your story about your script.
No, he helped
And
me
how
out.
nobody stole it and made a dime?
There's nothing. There's
I'm
nothing.
sorry,
there.
I
He
had
just
to
proved-
run and get a laptop.
He just,
No, I understand.
he just proved my case against me.
Alan, I'll give you your
I'm
laptop back.
depressed. I'm depressed now.
We do
It's
have
just-
a movie coming out. It's called actually The Bumpers.
Oh.
And it's about cars in the 70s that had bumpers on them.
Yeah.
And how the
I like
guys
that. I
who
love cars.
put bumpers on cars got accused of a murder. But it has nothing to do with fenders. It's about the bumpers.
You sure?
So, yeah, it's totally nothing like your script.
But it's a part of a car.
How did you get the inspiration?
Stole a laptop from Starbucks. Da-da-da-da-da-da.
Oh man, that was a perfect 5-minute
like that.
joke.
Wow. That is called in improv. That's like a long form, almost a herald.
How are you? We're doing a video.
It's just like a reality show. It's like a reality show.
Yeah, I thought that was Rhea Perlman.
Yeah.
If it was Rhea Perlman.
I was gonna say goodbye, Richard.
Exactly.
No,
I
she
would
just
have invited
join in.
Rhea in.
Join in.
I would have invited Rhea
Alan.
in.
Yeah.
Alan.
I knew Rhea Perlman. In
Oh, did you?
So when I was 20, I was a guard at Paramount. This is interesting. This is how I started doing stand-up. I was on a soap opera for a very short period of time.
Called Santa Barbara.
Cha-ching.
Yes.
Give that man a quarter.
Yeah, I watch a lot of soaps.
I was on Santa Barbara, and I got fired from Santa Barbara quickly, and because I didn't know anything, and I saw other people doing stuff, and I was just this little, and so I did the same thing. Goodbye.
Yeah.
So I got fired, and I got a job at Paramount Studios as a security guard, where I met somebody named Mark Price.
Mark Price.
You know Mark Price?
Basketball player.
No.
Oh.
Skippy from Family Ties.
Ask me again.
Oh.
Mark Price. Do you know Mark Price?
Yes, Skippy from Family Ties.
Oh.
Cha-ching.
there you
Give
go.
that man
Cha-ching.
another
Beautiful,
quarter. Mark Price played Skippy on Family Ties, and Mark and I became friends. And Family Ties was the #1 television show in the world at the time.
That's right.
Michael J. Fox. The whole
Yeah.
thing.
It's a big deal.
So Mark and I become friends, and Mark's father was a Catskills comedian named Al Burney. Mark, at 17 years old, was doing stand-up comedy, and his name was on the marquee at the Laugh Factory all the time. Mark Price, Skippy, Family Ties, Fraser Smith. That's what Jamie's...
That's where Fraser Smith comes in.
And back then, the Laugh Factory was a tiny little room. Do you know anything about this? Has anyone who's been on your show talked about this?
No.
Tell
So
us.
back up until 1990, the Laugh Factory was this tiny little dark, dingy comedy club that held about 70 people, maybe 80 people. And you've been in there.
Yeah.
Okay, so where the showroom is, that was Ah Fong's Chinese restaurant. That was not the showroom.
And then they expanded it.
When you walked in the Laugh Factory where the door is, that was like just a metal door, like that would be like on a with glass, the metal door handle. You just walked in. There was a black curtain in front of you, and you walked around the black curtain. The stage was directly in front of you, opposite the door.
Right.
I can show you where the stage still is, and how they couldn't change the design of the building. So you would get on stage by coming through a door, and the angle of the wall at the Laugh Factory, it's still there.
Wow.
After all the work's been done. Yeah, nobody knows this, but it was this tiny little dumpy club, and everything was $5. Jamie charged $5 to get in. Beers were, I don't know, $3, bagel dogs, beers and bagel dogs. And Fraser Smith kept the club open, and Mark Price worked there. He was like their big attraction.
Yeah.
And guys would saunter between the Improv in the Laugh Factory and the Comedy Store in the Laugh Factory, because back then you couldn't work the Improv and the Comedy Store.
Right.
You were not allowed. You were either an
because
improv
they had
comic.
a strike then.
This was after the strike, but
strike.
Mitzi and Bud had a massive feud.
Sure.
And you did not work both clubs. You were either a Comedy Store comic or you were an improv comic.
Yeah.
And that was just the way it was.
Wow.
Right.
At what point did Mark turn to basketball?
Oh, when Family Ties went off the air in like '93.
There's a really
There you
bad
go.
basketball player named
Mark Price, who played for the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Yeah. He was
Yeah.
like the only white guy at the time.
Yeah, he was terrible. Just like Mark Price is. No, sorry. Don't screw me.
Yeah. But man, like I'm kind of worried about they're giving me dirty looks.
I don't give a shit.
No,
But I'm on the show now.
Good. Let him be on the show.
Yeah, I'll be my opening joke. I'll be like, I just want you to know, I was in a meeting with this bald guy. He didn't give a shit. I was like, let him in. He was like, no. So it was all him.
Just tell him, hey, we were doing a podcast. Thank you so much for your
Respect.
for your your
Concern.
patience.
Yeah.
Yeah. In other words, love them instead of.
Did you ever think Danny DeVito was out of what's her name's league?
Well, it's kind of hard. Rhea Perlman and Danny DeVito pretty much are the league.
Yeah.
That's it.
Absolutely.
There's 4 people in it.
Yeah.
Okay? Danny DeVito, Rhea Perlman, the woman who played Simca on Taxi, Carol Kane, and Andy Kaufman.
Yeah.
That's that league.
Did you know Danny DeVito and Rita Perlman, they had sex and had a child named Matilda?
It's Rhea Perlman.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
They used to bring their children to Paramount.
Yeah.
And they had a children's play park built in Lucille Ball Park at Paramount for their kids. And I would ride past. I knew Rhea. I mean, I used to see her at the studio all the time. And when I started doing stand-up, I ran into Woody Harrelson in Palm Springs while I was working down in Palm Springs. And Woody knew me from the studio. And we wound up hanging out the whole weekend.
Was this before Woody was a basketball player or after?
This was after Woody, after he left the NFL, but before he started playing basketball.
Yeah, because he was in White Men Can't Jump.
He was in White Men Can't Jump, right?
Yeah. Which they can't, by the way.
No, they can't jump. That's a lie. It's all camera work. White men cannot jump.
I've thrown like 4 movie jokes and they all failed.
You can't. No, you haven't.
Matilda. Whatever.
No, I know. I got saw the Matilda reference.
Yeah. He's like, oh, I'm just saying that to be nice.
No, I'm not.
I think he got it.
He got it?
Yes.
So you're on the road right now with Nick Swartzen. What's that like? Because I'm a huge Nick Swartzen fan, and Alan's a huge Nick fan.
You mean the New York Knicks?
He's playing with me.
Being on the road with Swartzen is awesome. He has the best fucking fans.
Yeah.
So amazing. Like, better. I'm going to say this, and I don't mean this in any way to be like I'm comparing, but he has the best fans I've ever played to, and I toured with Hedberg for 5 years.
That was the second question I wanted to ask you.
Well, we can talk about that in a minute. But
all right.
Knicks fans are fucking great, and they're all partiers. And the places sell out every time, no matter where we go. Every ticket is sold before we ever get to town.
Yeah.
And Nick is, I love him like a brother,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
and he's hilarious, and he's fun, and we eat and go to movies and
party.
Sometimes drink, sometimes not.
Yeah.
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 Depends, Yeah.
So, I'm looking at Richard very uncomfortable. It's an Asperger look. Don't take it.
No, I didn't. But it was funny because people expect you to say things like, "Yeah, man, we get hotel suites." And we have 50 people up there, and there's
bitches on the right, bitches on the left.
Lines of blow on the table, man. I'm getting my dick sucked by 47 people. I don't even know where I am, man. But that's what but they don't know. It isn't like that anymore.
But so,
no, I'm kidding.
My question was, in all seriousness, is you toured with Hedberg, who is, one of my influences, and
apparently he's everybody's.
Yeah, he's everyone's influence. And then you also tour with Nick. I consider Hedberg a stand-up god. Maybe because I think he has. If he was alive today, he'd have more to offer. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah. And by the way, let me tell you something that you don't know. Hedberg introduced me to Swartzen.
Really?
Really.
Wow.
That's how I met Nick.
That's awesome.
That's the truth.
Wow.
At the Improv.
That's amazing. Wow.
Yeah, Mitch introduced me to Nick. They're both from Minneapolis.
Oh.
Right.
I'm sure if I Googled that, I would have found that
Mitch
out.
and I were at the Improv one night, like 20 years, 2005. So this would have been like 2000, maybe 99 or 2000. But Nick had just moved here, so I'm going to guess it was 99 maybe.
Yeah.
And we were at the Improv, and Swartzen was standing in the hallway, and Mitch was like, he said something, and I said something, and Nick goes, "Fuck are you?" And Mitch goes, "Man, you don't know Chassler?" Nick goes, "No." Just like fucking Nick. And Mitch goes, "Man, this Rich Chassler, man. He's the fucking funniest cat ever, man." Blah, blah, blah. And he went off on, and Nick goes, "All right. Good to know you."
Wow.
And that's how I met Nick. And Yeah, Mitch introduced us, but they're vastly different comics.
Oh yeah, definitely.
You know, but they both put equal amount of time.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, look, when you've been doing it as long as we've been doing.
They're gonna start soon.
Yeah. You can let them in. We're almost
just
done.
about done. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
When you've been doing it as long as we have, the writing, you understand that, you know, there's an art form involved, and it takes a very long time to conquer becoming a stand-up comedian and actually being able to call yourself a comedian.
Yeah.
And it's a big bone of contention with me. I tell all these people who I refer to as aspiring comedians that someone in med school can't call themselves a doctor.
It's a lot nicer than open micer.
Well,
Aspiring.
I just say aspiring comedian. You know?
No, but it's a lot nicer.
I
A
think
lot of
that's
people say
nicer.
open micer.
Well, open micer is a little derogatory. I don't know if it's derogatory.
It's a little racist.
I was about to say, you know, it's like calling someone an open kiker.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding. I'm Jewish. I can make that joke for anybody who listens that wants to then.
That's all you do and will ever do.
What?
Open mic
Well,
implies
if you
that
call
you're stuck
no,
there.
I mean, well, yes, aspiring comedian I think has more of
Like
a
you're trying,
tonality
you're trying.
that someone is
Arts.
putting time and energy into
Yeah.
something, but none of them understand the craft, and it takes 10 years. It
Easily.
takes 10 years
Let me ask you something. Do you think Alan Lee understands the craft?
I've been called an open micer, and I'm not.
No.
I'm
I think
ashamed to
you're.
tell
I think
the
you're an
truth.
improv genius.
I know you. I appreciate that. I really do. I know Richard would agree. Sorry, Richard would agree to that. but
I've never seen him
nevertheless,
do improv.
He
I don't
hasn't.
know.
We'll do a
He
little
hasn't.
improv.
I know
right?
that you asked me a question, he answered it.
Yeah. That's good improv.
That I know. Oh, is that what the kids are calling that these days? Improv? Oh, I got to brush up on my colloquial.
I learned it from South Coast Repertory.
Right, licking the finger and
It's-
scanning the pages,
that's it.
that's not good
Yeah,
improv?
it's very good. I like that.
No, but
In the moment.
what would you say that you've learned the most when you were a young comic to now? Because I'm sure your style has changed.
Oh, so
and
much.
I'm sure, you know, your character's still there, but I'm sure like your direction. You know what I mean?
First of all, that is a brilliant question. That is a brilliant question. And I can tell you that what I learned is that when you start, who you think you are on stage is not who you are.
Yeah.
Okay?
Really?
And the hardest thing about stand-up comedy for me, and from speaking to other people, you know, and other friends of mine and everyone I know who does it, is getting the guy off stage to be the same guy on stage.
Yeah.
Okay? And that's the hardest thing. When I started, I was an actor. I was studying acting with Stella Adler. Mark Price talked me into doing stand-up. I'm going on stage acting like a stand-up comic.
Yeah.
Hey, how you guys doing?
And this is before you played
Literally.
basketball.
Sure.
This is before he played basketball. And I mean, it took me 2 years to just get over that.
Yeah.
So one of the things I have certainly learned is that you have to be patient with trying to understand how this thing mechanically works.
Yeah.
It's really complicated. And I'm an accomplished actor, and I've been playing the drums since I'm 7. It's okay.
Yeah.
Been playing the drums since I'm 7 years old. I taught myself to play guitar, piano, clarinet, trumpet. I tap dance. I'll tell you, stand-up comedy is the hardest out of all of them. So I learned that you have to be patient, and you have to be honest with yourself about where you are developmentally.
Well, there's my manager, Dante. Hey, Dante.
Hi, Dante.
There's my soon-to-be manager, Dante.
How are you, buddy?
Good to see you, man.
Welcome to the
Dante
show.
always treats me so well.
We're here with the newly married,
Yeah.
Yes,
very
that's right.
smiling,
Very recently.
incredibly darling.
Well, let's finish this
All
outside.
right, let's finish this outside. We're going to take a break and come back.
I'm
Yes,
going to leave
indeed.
it rolling just
Okay.
to see like we could hear like the
commercial break.
hates.
Sure.
But then we'll go outside because we still got 15 minutes to kill.
Let's do it. To kill, I have a lot to talk about.
I don't have anything on right now, but I do.
No, we don't need to pause it. Do you want to pause it?
Sure, pause it and we'll pick it right back
But I think
up.
it'd be more interesting because then the fans could hear what the people in Los Angeles talk about.
There's no one out there, and so what the people will hear is what what it sounds like to walk through a 80% empty pizza place.
Yeah, because we got 5 minutes. We gotta get the. So
Come
we'll
on.
do.
Let's go.
Let's
We'll
head
let
out,
people
leave
listen.
it on.
Am I going to carry this thing then?
Yeah,
All right. I am picking up the studio and walking away with the studio.
So we're following Richard.
All right, we're going to walk out into the restaurant part of Sal's Comedy Hole.
Richard's producing this man.
And I'm not. I just was given the studio to carry. So I'm currently walking through Sal's Comedy Hole. I guess outside?
Yeah, we'll go outside.
Outside it is. We'll go on to Melrose. Yeah, there's a guy who looks like Sean Lennon, who crushed it on Saturday Night Live with Miley Cyrus, by the way. This looks great.
Oh, yeah.
This looks fantastic. All right, we are now currently sitting at a table at Sal's Comedy Hole on Melrose Avenue.
Yeah, see?
Very chic.
What kind of podcast has that?
Yeah. How many podcasts?
I don't know what kind of podcast has a guy who steps on everything the guest says.
Reza.
I'm in the middle of starting a commentary, and in comes the improv genius. Is that what you called him? Oh, we would call him an improv pariah.
Oh, I called you a producer.
No, I was talking about just now. I started to do a commentary. I said, we're here on Melrose, and in comes you, stepping all over my commentary.
It's kind of like,
That's, no.
You know, like Chick Hearn when he was alive and he had Stu?
Yeah, and Chick and Stu.
Yeah.
They listened to each other.
But Chick would always say the funny stuff, and Stu would be like, "That's right, Chick."
Right, that was the job. Chick wouldn't go, the door's open, the egg's chilling, and the butter's hard. You wouldn't hear Stu going, and the butter's hard. Okay, that is not how it worked. Just to be very clear. Harmony has two parts, not one. When both people sing the same note, you're not getting a harmony. You're getting two people singing the same note. Once again, not politically correct.
I'm so misunderstood.
They're actually calling me, so I have to go. But Richard, I'm on the show at 8 o'clock. Thank you so much for doing the show.
Of course. Are you kidding me?
Good segment.
Keith, you always make me laugh. I would. If you want to have me back to finish this,
we want you back.
I would come back any time.
Barry Katz came back.
Absolutely.
He said he'd never met anyone like me.
Barry Katz and I have known each other a long, long time.
This guy likes to throw names.
Yeah, and he throws the big ones, man.
Yeah.
Why
The
not?
big ones. Disgraced managers. You know, I mean, who else you got for me?
I love Barry.
Come on.
No, we love Barry.
Yeah, we had who's the blonde who's drunk in every picture that she Tara Reid. We had Tara Reid on here.
I want Tara Reid.
Well, who doesn't want?
Do you know Tara?
I only met her at the sporting bar where Jay Davis used to do his show. Yeah, bleep out that name, by the way, before you.
Which one?
Jay Davis.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm like, he gets no promo from me.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. We gotta bleep out that name then.
Yeah.
You gotta remind me. I'll forget.
You're gonna bleep out most of this.
No.
Richard can text you that name.
No. What? No, Tara Reid.
No, the whole Tara Reid story, and it all went
that was
public.
a bad story.
Yeah, I just really should not have said that.
Yeah, it's okay.
No, it's not.
No, Tara Reid, she was good in Josie and the Pussycats.
She was great in Josie and the Pussycats,
Yeah.
yes. And you don't know, she made a sequel to that one, an X-rated version called Josie and Her Pussy.
Oh.
Come on, too easy.
Richard, where can the folks at home follow you on the social and see?
I am at Richard Chassler on everything, and my website is richardchassler.com, where you can also see my stand-up dates, and where you can also watch Stop and see other things that I've done.
Stop was awesome, man. I love you very much. Thank you so much.
Right back at you, Keith. I'm so happy to have come on the show, man.
I enjoy doing improv with you, Richard.
I enjoy being stepped all over by you, my friend.
Guys, follow Richard Chassler, and if you like the show, subscribe, rate, and review. And Alan, have you got any last words to say?
I will fight on, and I'll be patient at all the
you're
open
supposed
mics.
to step on it.
Like all
I
the
will
open,
fight on and be patient
with all the
open
open
mics.
That Richard told me to be patient with myself
till I find my voice.
He's doing
exactly
me.
He's doing.
Oh, that's I love it.
Oh my god, I love it.
God.
Oh my god, I love it.
Scale 1 through 10, how is Reza Riz?
Oh, this is a 10 show. I'll do the show anytime. Absolutely. Absolutely. It's a 10 show. Are you kidding?
Yes.
It's nothing but it's just chock full of material. You could do the show for 6 hours if he's on every episode.
Yeah.
You could just bring it. You just never stop talking. That's it. It's just chock full. If you're honest.
Yeah.
If you're not me, then I can't speak for other people. Some people may be intimidated by that.
10-10 show. We like
Oh
it.
yeah, no, this is great for sure.
I gotta get going. Dante's yelling at me, guys.
Richard rocks. Thank you so
Richard,
much.
Thank you
so
very much, you
buddy.
guys.
Irreverent, entertaining, cool. You're listening to LA Talk Radio.